There are moments in international aviation when a single incident disrupts not just an airshow, but an entire narrative a country has been building for years. And what happened in Dubai with India's Tejas fighter was exactly that moment. On the final day of the Middle East's largest aviation event, the Dubai Airshow, the Indian-made Tejas crashed during its aerial demonstration. The jet went down at high speed after what observers described as a low, aggressive roll, ending in an eruption of flames barely a kilometer from the main show area. The pilot did not survive, and the Indian Air Force confirmed the loss shortly after, announcing that an inquiry would be conducted. For India, the crash wasn't just a tragic accident. It directly undercut New Delhi's ongoing effort to present Tejas as the face of its self-reliant defense manufacturing program. And it happened in a place where global defense companies, air forces, and investors were watching closely. The Dubai Airshow is not just any event. It is one of the world's premier aviation showcases, known for its massive commercial deals, defense negotiations, and daily flying displays that attract hundreds of thousands of visitors, including military delegations from more than 50 countries. The 2025 edition brought together over 1,500 exhibitors and around 200 aircraft, from modern fighters to next-generation drones to commercial jets. For India, this was supposed to be an opportunity to promote the Tejas as a credible indigenous alternative to foreign fighters. Instead, the crash dominated headlines and conversations, and the irony was painful. The purpose of the display was to boost confidence in Tejas's performance, maneuverability, and export potential. Yet the incident ended up reinforcing long-standing concerns about its safety record and design challenges. Tejas has always been marketed by New Delhi as the symbol of India's technological rise, a domestically built fighter jet that could replace aging MiG-20s and eventually compete with global lightweight fighters. But despite the billions poured into the program, the jet has struggled since its earliest stages. It was rejected by the Indian Navy for being overweight and underpowered. Its development ran decades behind schedule, and despite being formally inducted into the Indian Air Force in 2016, the fleet has not been tested meaningfully in combat. Its aerodynamic issues, software glitches, and structural limitations have been widely discussed within the aviation community. Even after major political endorsements, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, repeatedly promoting it as the centerpiece of Make in India, the aircraft has consistently failed to deliver operational confidence. This crash, only the second known Tejas loss, came at the worst possible time for India's attempt to revive the jet's image. India's recent push to export Tejas was already facing hurdles. One major issue has been engine supply. The fighter is powered by a General Electric engine, and India ordered 99 new units in 2021 to accelerate production of the Mk1A variant. But only a handful have arrived due to supply chain delays. These setbacks have slowed production, affected squadron readiness, and forced India to stretch its already thin fighter resources at a time when China's air power continues to expand rapidly. Against this backdrop, New Delhi desperately needed the Dubai Airshow to demonstrate progress, stability, and reliability. Instead, the crash became ammunition for critics who have long argued that India's indigenous fighter program, despite enormous political attention and heavy spending, is still far from matching the performance standards of other contemporary light fighters, especially Pakistan and China's jointly produced JF-17. The comparison with the JF-17 has always been sensitive for India because Tejas was meant to surpass it. Yet the reality is that the Pakistani-Chinese jet has seen far wider operational use, dozens of export inquiries, and multiple successful performances at international air shows, including the same Dubai Airshow. Pakistan showcased its latest JF-17 variants in Dubai, including upgraded avionics and new weapons integrations, reinforcing the aircraft's reputation as a reliable and cost-effective platform. The stark contrast wasn't lost on aviation analysts. While Tejas suffered a catastrophic crash, Pakistan's JF-17 flew cleanly, completed its demos, and attracted crowds at the static display. Social media posts from the event even circulated, showing Indian Air Force personnel taking pictures with Pakistan's JF-17, something that sparked discussion online. Partly humorous, partly symbolic of the irony that the aircraft Tejas was supposed to outperform ended up becoming a highlight for Indian visitors. Beyond the rivalry, the Dubai Air Show itself amplified the imbalance. Pakistan's presence was confident and diverse. JF-17 fighters, advanced UAV systems, and displays highlighting growing aerospace collaborations with China and Middle Eastern partners. India's presence, anchored around Tejas, was overshadowed by the crash and the subsequent investigation announcement. The optics were damaging. For India, this was supposed to be the year it demonstrated that Tejas was finally stable, dependable, and ready for mass export. Instead, the incident revived concerns among foreign buyers who already viewed India's aircraft industry as slow, politicized, and inconsistent. It also raised internal questions about the pressure placed on Indian pilots to execute high-risk maneuvers at international shows to compensate for the aircraft's lagging reputation. The crash also deepened a broader worry within India's defense community, the state of the Indian Air Force's aircraft fleet in 2025. This year alone, nearly every fighter platform in India's inventory has suffered either a shoot-down or a crash. Rafales and Su-30s were lost in operational incidents, Mirage 2s and MiG-20s faced accidents, and now Tejas joins Jaguar on the list of non-combat crashes. For a country facing an increasingly assertive China along its northern border and a historically hostile Pakistan on its western frontier, the cumulative effect of losing aircraft across multiple types raises serious questions about training, maintenance, aircraft aging, and structural challenges within Indian aviation. The fact that Tejas, intended to be the modern replacement, has now added to this worrying pattern will likely intensify debate within India's strategic circles. In the aftermath of the crash, India's immediate priority is the formal inquiry, but the deeper challenge is salvaging confidence in a program that has repeatedly failed to meet its own expectations. Tejas was supposed to be proof that India could go from being a major arms importer to a credible indigenous manufacturer. Instead, the jet has become a symbol of the gap between political ambition and industrial reality. For New Delhi, this tragedy at the Dubai Airshow is not just a single aircraft loss. It is a reputational setback, an export blow, and a reminder that modern fighter development demands years of consistent engineering excellence, operational testing, and transparent quality control. Meanwhile, Pakistan's JF-17 continues to strengthen its position at international stages, and India's fighter fleet continues to experience serious strain. And so, as the inquiry begins, the larger question echoes through India's strategic community. After billions spent, decades of promises, and global speeches about self-reliance, how many more years and how many more setbacks before Tejas actually becomes the fighter jet India has long claimed it to be?